The Lakers resume pursuit of a potential 18th NBA title. Hockey analysts predict the blueprint for the LA Kings offseason. And USC's coach says Bronny James' family does not behave like Little League parents. Good morning. I'm James. This is your daily dose of sports and snark for the greatest sports city in the world, Los Angeles. This is the faithful Angelenos Morning Report. It is May 16th, 2023. We have added another new subscriber to the Angelino familia. Thank you for getting in on the ground floor. If you like being in the know about LA sports, clickety-clack the like button. Clickety-clack the subscribe button. There's a notification bell. Hit that. It'll let you know when we drop new content. Sharing is caring. Let people know we exist. And by all means, comment. We are going to talk a lot about Lakers Nuggets today. You got to have something on your mind about that. Feel free to shout out. Before we go through the news and notes, a look at the scoreboard. Trace Thompson is in the middle of an 0 for 30 slump, but he still contributed last night. He walks off the game with a bases loaded walk. Dodgers 9, Minnesota 8, took 12 innings. LA maintains a 3-game lead in the NL West. Meanwhile, today, Lakers at Denver at 5:30. Game 1 of the best of 7 Western Conference Finals. A lot to talk about. We're going to get to that in just a half second. Minnesota is also at the Dodgers at 7. Clayton Kershaw 6-2 with a 2.36 ERA versus Bailey Ober 2-0 with a 1.85 ERA. Kershaw takes the mound just days after his mother passes away. So keep a happy thought, not just for the Dodgers, but for Kershaw the man. If it's been 3 years, does that qualify for short-term memory issues? I ask that because that's exactly what sports writers are talking about before the Lakers play in Denver tonight. This whole, it's a rematch of the 2020 COVID bubble in Orlando. And it's a very strange comparison to make because very few players from that 2020 series are still with the teams. Either side. The only players on the Lakers roster that are still there are LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope was on that team, but he's on the other side. He's playing for Denver. The Nuggets returned 3 players from 2020, plus their coach. These are entirely different teams from what was going on back when we were all wearing like 5 masks and afraid to leave the apartment or the house. Nikola Jokic, for his part, says he doesn't even remember the Nuggets losing to the Lakers in the bubble. Okay, yeah, you do, dude. Let's not carry this lie that far. You do. The Nuggets dissed and dismissed Denver in 5. You do. You remember that. Stop it. But Jokic is right in saying that this version of the Lakers is damn near nothing like the one that he saw in the bubble. If anything, you could argue that the Lakers' return to prominence is also about James's reinventing himself along with the rest of the team. It's probably due to the age and a little bit due to Nixon injuries, but we'll get into that. If you climb into the Wayback Machine and you land in the COVID bubble, all you heard about back then was bully ball. Bully ball this, bully ball that. You know, James was playing as an oversized point guard. But if you look at the Lakers this year, it's almost as if he seems to have shifted mostly to power forward. Sometimes small forward, but mostly power. To a lot of people, that's kind of stunning. If you think about it, you're asking LeBron James to give up control of the offense. Did anybody ever actually expect LeBron James to give up the ball? But he has. And the Lakers have excelled in the playoffs during doing so. His numbers have only dropped slightly, like 2 points per game. Big whoop, right? But Davis adjusting to play power forward has led to dominoes falling for the Lakers. And fortunately, it's fallen in the right direction. It brings about at least one intriguing change. You see, Davis may not have said so publicly, but he has apparently agreed to finally play center, at least during the playoffs. He hates doing it. He believes playing in the post, getting banged up and all that leads to more injuries. It hasn't happened yet, but it's out of necessity. The Lakers don't even have a traditional backup center. If you think about it, Mo Bama's on the roster, but he's still injured, right? I don't think he's played a single minute in the playoffs. So it's out of necessity. Davis and the Lakers have no choice. Now, Tristan Thompson didn't play in the NBA at all during the regular season. Theoretically, he could be a backup center. But then you go look down the list. Wenyen Gabriel is undersized at 6'9". Jared Vanderbilt is 6'8". Go back to the bubble. The Lakers were able to throw waves of big men at Jokic and let Davis play the 4. You had Dwight Howard with 6 fouls to give up. You had JaVale McGee with 6 more fouls, and so on and so forth. All of which was designed to knock Jokic off his game. This time, it has to be Davis versus the Joker. And by the way, it's going to be an extremely intriguing matchup because both players are dominating. The Joker comes into this series as a one-man wrecking crew against Phoenix. He averaged almost 35 points and he definitely averaged a triple-double a game versus the Suns. So that brings up one big point. Davis has to stay out of foul trouble. Davis has to stay out of foul trouble. So how do you take care of the one-man wrecking crew? Can I make a guess? It's just a guess. Switch sports for a moment. When the Patriots were in their Super Bowl glory days, the cliche that you always heard about Coach Bill Belichick was that on defense, Bill Belichick would scheme to take away one important thing from the opposing team's offense. They were like, you know what, we may not stop everything, but if we can take that one thing away, then we can win. And I think Darvin Ham plans his defense the same way too. The way that they planned their defense to back off of the other Warriors, all of it, was in a desperate attempt to limit what Steph Curry could do in damage. They were way more physical than Memphis, but the main thing that they wanted to take away from Memphis was Ja Morant's speed. Okay? I meant Yosemite Sam. I'm sorry, not Ja Morant, but you get the drift. So if you recall what we discussed a couple of days ago, Draymond Green said that Jokic could score on you and get a bunch of assists on you. You can allow one or the other, but you can't allow both or you will lose. So what then does Darvin Ham decide to take away? Does he take away scoring from the Joker by double teaming him? Maybe they play a specialty defense like a box and one or a triangle and two. Davis being on Jokic and the other Lakers kind of hovering around him, not to keep him from scoring, but to keep him from passing the ball out of the post. My guess is that they're going to try to keep Jokic from dealing out of the post because that's where Jamal Murray gets open and does damage. Just a guess. If they take away his scoring, whichever way to victory is fine with me. But then the question becomes, who do the Lakers start? There's a lot of intriguing questions going into game one. Did you notice that Dennis Schroeder took the place of Jared Vanderbilt as the Warriors series went on? Does that carry over tonight, or do the Lakers need size again against the Joker? If it's Jokic being the best player on the court, which is likely, and say Jamal Murray being the third best player over James, which is possible, Denver has a big advantage. If it's James and Davis coming in at the second and third best player on the court, or even more pronounced, if Davis outplays the Joker, then the Lakers get the nod. Either way, the bottom line as to why I think the Lakers should be favored in this series. There are lots of ways for the Lakers to shave some of Jokic's effectiveness. People talk at length about LA's defense under Frank Vogel. Statistically speaking, the Lakers' defense is even better now with Davis playing the 5. James and Davis adjusted their games to give the Lakers bench some of the scoring opportunities that normally James would want to have for himself. I think Rui Hachimura is becoming a way more effective player than Kyle Kuzma was in the bubble. I think Austin Reeves has finally made people move on from Alex Caruso. In 2020, nobody on Denver could stop Davis, and that included Jokic. Who are the Nuggets going to send? Are they going to send Alan Gordon on the double team? That would leave LeBron James wide open. So I believe that the Lakers have the advantage. Do you drive to Vegas and put down all your money on it? I wouldn't. but I believe they have the advantage. 2 hockey columnists expect the Kings to make a lot of noise in the offseason. Now, the alleged plan that these guys are writing about centers on the using defensemen as trade bait. Brant Clark, you might remember him getting a cup of coffee with the team at the start of the season, is going to stay in the NHL next year. There's no doubt. The Kings also must make a decision on Tobias Bjornfot, because for Bjornfot to go back to the minors this year, he would have to clear waivers, and that is too risky. And he's a left-handed defenseman. So you would want Bjornfot in the NHL to try to save the left-handed defense side, which was a problem for the Kings during the year. There's also chatter that LA is closing in on a contract extension with Vladislav Gavrikov. Now, if you add those 3 players to the mix, you now have a log jam at defense. If that's the case, others have to be traded. Others have to go. It's just that simple. That would make Sean Walker and Sean Durzi trade bait. Durzi anchored the Kings' second power play unit and can play both the left and the right side on defense. Walker can also play left and right. Durzi probably has more trade value. Basically, the idea of using those 2 not as the centerpiece, but at least as a big chip to try to relieve some salary cap stress and also maybe, I don't know, acquire a goalie. Just a thought. USC basketball coach Andy Enfield says Bronny James's parents are not hovering over practice, lording over how their son will be treated. Yeah, no kidding. Bronny James's dad is LeBron. The man is in Denver right now. This is not the time to write this story, guys. Wait until the summer. Then knock yourself out judging LeBron James as a basketball dad. But Enfield still likes what he sees out of not only Bronny James, but the family in general. Quote, Savannah and LeBron have been extremely supportive of Bronny and his decision to come to USC. Enfield told that to ESPN. They have a great understanding of what it takes to become a great player. I think the expectations, there certainly are expectations, but the expectations are not unreasonable as parents. They want what most other parents want. They want their son to come, get an education, develop on the basketball court, play with other good players, and to have a coaching staff that can help them develop and help them become a better player. We think as a coaching staff, LeBron and Savannah have a great understanding of what it's going to take for Bronny to be a great college player and get to the next level, unquote. So, there you go. Hopefully LeBron and his wife are not demanding additional minutes at other people's expense. We'll find out as the guy's career goes along. CBSSports.com ran an article about the one thing they've learned about every NFL team in the offseason. And for the Rams, what they've learned, quote, their time in the sun is over, unquote. Can't go there yet. Can't. Don't get me wrong, I do believe that they'll be lucky to make 500 this year. Very lucky if that happens. I would imagine they'll win maybe 2 more games than they did this year, but whatever. But with a full bevy of draft picks next year, plus 53 to 70 million in cap space to work with for next offseason, it might be a little premature to say that the window is closed for good. Could be, but that's a lot to work with for next year. That's a lot of intriguing possibilities. Plus, you already have Aaron Donald, Matthew Stafford, and Cooper Kupp. So here's the question. The Rams, obviously, as we recall, had a ton of draft picks, right? Trying to solve or fill a lot of potholes. Here's the question that I would rather know. How many of those draft picks have to hit this year or the next? What qualifies as a good draft to basically advance this rebuild / remodel / whatever you want to call it to the next stage, to basically bring it faster? All of them are not going to hit. How many of them should hit? If they all stink, then yeah. If they all stink, then the window is closed. I'll go with that, but it's too premature. The Rams signed undrafted free agent Tamarcus Davis out of Arizona State. They also signed a defensive lineman, Tron Vincent, from the Ohio State College. Vincent is the son of a 15-year NFL vet, Troy Vincent. The Rams also waived 3 undrafted free agents: wide receiver Tyler Hudson, linebacker Matthew Jester, and defensive back Jaden Woodbay. By the way, the same CBS story on what we learned also had something about the Chargers, but it's something that we already knew. Well done, guys. That the Chargers are going to have to rely a ton on new offensive coordinator Kellen Moore, because what are they going to do with the running game? Slow clap for CBS. I love being told something I already know, and I love telling you something you already know. Well done, guys. But you let me know what you think in the comments thread. Lakers versus Nuggets. Who you got and why? Let me know if you think that the glut of Kings defensemen is actually going to be their solution for next year. And if you enjoyed talking LA sports with me, don't forget to subscribe to Faithful Angelenos. We talk LA sports every single day here. Thank you for watching. I'm James. We'll be back tomorrow. Faithful Angelenos is a Kian Corta El Queso production. Take care.